yung application ng one-year bar rule ng Supreme Court ponente ni Justice Leonen, tama ba yung pinagbasihan factually?
So I already read that first day pa lang, no? When it was uploaded sa website, I read the decision. But after the sober weekend passed, no, madami pang statements lumabas, I guide everyone to read the statement of one sambayanan, no? Which is of course Justice Carpio is part of. So kaya siguro maganda yung statement. It's quite clear yung facts and yung timeline doon ng first and third impeachment complaints or the first three versus the fourth impeachment complaint. So when we talk of the one-year bar rule, ang basahin naman natin, Article 11, Section 3, Number 5. No impeachment proceedings, hindi complaint ang nakalagay dito, no impeachment proceedings shall be initiated against the same official more than once within a period of 1 year. So magkakaroon ng application of the one-year bar rule if meron nang na-initiate na impeachment proceedings. Now, historically, law students like me before and lawyers na tinuruan noong 2010, 2000s to 2010 or 2020 before this decision, ang talagang sinaksak sa utak namin, no, mga lawyers and law students, Francisco versus House, mga 2000 era na case, time ni GMA, time ni CJ Davide, there are two ways to initiate an impeachment proceeding. Yung second, na pag-usapan na nga natin, the Manny-Villar route. The first route naman is what we call the referral route. So, pagka-file ng citizen endorsed by a congressman, it must be referred to the Committee of Justice or the proper committee, which in most cases is the Committee on Justice. So, dalawang ways. Tapos yung first, two elements, filing and referral. Pag hindi nagkaroon ng filing and referral, hindi mo mai-initiate under the first route. Sa second route naman, basta na-sign na yan ng 1/3, again, sabi ko kanina, automatic. So, dapat na-initiate na yan kasi automatic by operation of the Constitution. Sa first route, doon nangyari yung first 3 impeachment complaints filed by Akbayan Party List and civil society groups na nag-file na aligned with Akbayan Party List, no? Endorsed yan by Akbayan December 2. Ngayon, lahat yan, first 3, hindi ko na sigurado yung date of the filing of the second and third. But what is sure is, after December 2, the first 3 complaints were were included in the order of business on February 5. So the Constitution requires that when impeachment complaints have been filed na first route, kailangan i-include siya sa order of business within 10 session days. 10 session days is not calendar days. Kasi ang normal na tao ang iisipin, kung layo ng December 2 sa February 5, lampas-lampas na yan sa 10 session days. Hindi. Ang session day kasi may sariling calendar ang Congress and a session day can last for 3 to 5 days. Ganun yon. That's why it's very technical, session day ang tawag. But regardless,
basta hindi nag-adjourn.
Correct. Ang punto dyan, ang February 3 to 5, yun yung designated na 10th session day after December 2. Because after December 2, there was a 27th session, so magbibilang ka niyan. Medyo kailangan ko lang maging technical, may point din ako dito later eh. 27th session, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 36 session day ng Congress ang deadline for inclusion in the order of business. And the House met this deadline on February 5. Unfortunately, para dito sa mga arguments in favor of Sara Duterte, no, medyo nag-argue na ako against the Supreme Court decision. Unfortunately, the fourth impeachment complaint was also filed and included in the order of business on February 5. Now, I'll be fair to the Supreme Court decision, i-explain ko yung Supreme Court side, no? Ang Leonen ponente, ang analysis niya on the first 3 impeachment complaints is that while, okay, nag-comply siya sa inclusion within 10 session days, hindi niya refer to the Committee on Justice within 3 session days because wala na daw pwedeng maging session. Mag-a-adjourn sine die, patay na talaga yung Congress after February 5. Pag nag-adjourn at hindi na-refer sa Committee of Justice, magkakaroon ng effective dismissal. Yan yung bagong doctrine na new law students will have to read. and we'll have to know, no? May doctrine of effective dismissal, pag effectively dismissed daw ang impeachment complaint, effectively initiated na din yan. Pag initiated yan effectively, matitrigger ang 1-year bar rule. Therefore, if na-initiate yung first T, because of effective dismissal, barred ang fourth impeachment complaint.
Ito yung basic question. Sorry, ito yung basic question. Yan ang Supreme Court explanation. Pero ang tanong, na-initiate din yung yung fourth impeachment complaint using the other route that same day bago nag-adjourn ng House.
Yes. So ito yun. Ito may dalawa tayong kontrapunto. Gamitin muna natin yung sa one sambayanan, no? Sa statement nila, and alam ko naman din tong facts na to, pero mas klaro yung oras. Kasi we have to look at the chronology. Ang normal logic is that the first three should have come before. The first three should have been initiated before the fourth was quote-unquote initiated as well. Para yung fourth yung bawal. Kaso if you look at the chronology and the facts, yung reality, no, physical, walang fake news, walang alternative reality, the first three impeachment complaints, kailan sila ma-effectively dismiss? By the logic of the Supreme Court. Sabi ng Supreme Court, pag nag-adjourn ang House, kailan nag-adjourn ang House? On February 5. What time? 7:15 p.m. These are according to the facts. Kailan na sign, na file, na sign, na include, and na transmit? Doon na tayo sa transmittal to the Senate kasi natapos na lahat, and yet mas maaga pa than 7:15. Na-transmit yung fourth impeachment complaint mga 4:57 p.m. or around 5 p.m. May ilaw pa noon, hindi pa gabi. 7:15, nung nag-adjourn, gabi na. So, kung naunang matransmit and na-initiate yung fourth impeachment complaint, chronologically, time-wise, dapat siya actually, ito yung kontrapunto na, it was the fourth impeachment complaint that should have barred the first three. It's not the first three that should bar the fourth. The fourth should have barred the first three. And the House has the prerogative. Ang tanong, can the House choose? Does the House have discretion? Baka ang tiningnan ng Supreme Court dito, first na file yung first three Hindi. Pare-pareho silang na-include sa order of business And the House has a constitutional prerogative. Where do we base this? Saan natin hinuhugot yung constitutional prerogative ng House? Sabi ng Constitution, the House can promulgate its own rules to effectuate the impeachment proceedings laid out by Article 11. So, part ng freedom and discretion and prerogative ng House to act on the fourth impeachment complaint first, especially when the logic is, napirmahan na nga ng 1/3. Balik tayo ng onti doon sa number 4, automatic pag na-sign niya ng 1/3, automatic articles of impeachment na yan. So there is no other duty, walang discretion na ang House, but to transmit to the Senate. So talina din yung kamay nila. So kung na-initiate na yung fourth should have barred the first three. Unfortunately, and ito lang naman yung aking absurdity na nakikita dyan, the Supreme Court did not discuss those nitty-gritty facts, and or even if it did, magta-time travel si Supreme Court. Ginamit niya yung 7 p.m. na effective dismissal para i-bar yung fourth impeachment complaint versus normally doing it chronologically. Isingit na din natin dito, Christian, bakit hindi na-discuss ng Supreme Court itong specific time or timestamps, no, yung chronology? Kasi ironically, they afforded Sara Duterte due process, but they violated and did not give the House due process. Nasabi na yan ni Justice Ascuna, ni Justice Carpio, ni Justice Puno, ni former Chief Justice Puno. Ang House, in order ng Supreme Court to comply with a question or with questions. Binasa nyo ba? Ibigay nyo sa amin yung calendar, yung session days, gano'n. Nag-comply naman ang House. Pero hindi inutusan ng Supreme Court ang House as a respondent to formally comment on the petition of Sara Duterte. So wala pang petition, wala pang pleading or writing ang House to formally rebut the legal arguments on 1-year bar, on due process, on jurisdiction, etc., etc. So, doon pa lang, may deprivation of due process. Second, normally sa mga kasong ganito na sobrang bigat, mga transcendental importance, nag-oral arguments ka. Kasi nga, ang daming nitty-gritty na mas maganda matanong mo on the spot para talagang mahimay mo yung issues sa mga resource persons mo or dun sa mga lawyers representing the respondent or the petitioner. Walang oral arguments sa kaso na ito. So baka kaya nakulangan ng facts yung Supreme Court at madami silang inassume. In my humble opinion, no, madaming parang inassume or logical jump yung Supreme Court kaya hindi nila nakita itong mga facts na ito.
Yun nga, dagdagan ko rin yung binabanggit mo kanina dun sa yung fourth impeachment complaint effectively barred the first three. Hindi ba nandun yung discretion precisely to allow the House, the chamber, to decide on bogus cases right away? Ibig sabihin, kung wala namang kwenta yung maunang final, bakit namin papansinin yan? Meron dumating na siguro pang-4, pang-5, pang-6, ito yung seseryosohin. Or if they so decide, 1/3 ng House. Hindi ba yun ang lohika din doon?
And that was also the wisdom of the Supreme Court, but not this Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in 2000, 2010, in the cases of Francisco and Merceditas Gutierrez, nakita nga nila because of the GMA experience, hindi ko na matandaan yung pangalan ng lawyer, na every year, nagpa-file siya ng impeachment complaint to trigger the 1-year bar against GMA. Nakita yan ng Supreme Court. So, yes, pwede nga magkaroon ng bogus complaint just for the purposes of giving protection every year to an impeachable official. So sabi ng Supreme Court, House muna tayo, ito wisdom ng Supreme Court, no? The referral includes filtering the bogus from the non-bogus. Tapos doon naman sa Merceditas Gutierrez na decision, there may be multiple impeachment complaints filed at hindi yun yung nagtitrigger ng 1-year bar because it's impeachment proceedings that bar or that initiate, no? Multiple impeachment complaints can be like multiple matchsticks. Lighting the same candle, which is, yun yung allowed, one candle, one proceeding every year. So, pwedeng piliin ng House ano yung matchstick na maglalight sa candle kasi baka mas maganda yung ilaw pag ito yung matchstick, mas effective. Kung ano yung mas malakas, pwede din sila mag-consolidate. Ano yung consolidate? Multiple impeachment complaint, i-consolidate natin, let's say yung first 3, first 4, kinonsolidate, naging isa, pwede din gawin ng House yun para yun na yung magiging articles of impeachment. That is the prerogative of the House. And hindi lang wisdom or logic na normal or layman, the Supreme Court validated it before. Unfortunately, yun nga, earth-shattering yung decision ng July 25 because it abandons effectively yung mga ganong rulings.
Okay. Finally, kung nagkamali dito yung Supreme Court, what can the public do?
Well, this interview and what journalists like you are doing or what commentators like me are doing is part of that. First of all, is to point out the weakness of the decision. We should remember, ang strength ng court decisions lies in the soundness and persuasiveness and reasonability of the decision or the ruling. So if the public, part of me, ako ay part ng public, sina Justice Carpio, Justice Puno, part of public, retired na sila, we are influencing and pointing out the weakness of the decision and therefore nudging the Supreme Court na maybe you can revisit your decision when the House files an MR. And the House naman, as the formal respondent, no, yun ang kanilang quickest remedy is to file an MR. And they said naman that they will file an MR. So, let's see what will happen with the MR. Hopefully, magka-oral arguments. Hopefully, ma-rectify ng Supreme Court in whatever way. Because madami namang way out here without embarrassing the Supreme Court. Meron tayong tinatawag na doctrine of operative fact, sabi ni Justice Ascuna, na kahit binago mo yung luma, pero i-recognize mo na since the House relied on the old doctrines, that it will still be valid and moving forward na lang na dapat bago or yung bagong doctrine ang susundin ng House. So, that is the best political compromise I can think of. Otherwise, as many others have said, it might court a constitutional crisis. But let me just preface that by saying na I don't really think it's the Senate that would be forcing a constitutional crisis. The constitutional crisis was already created when the Supreme Court entered the realm of judicial overreach or judicial legislation, in my humble opinion and with all due respect.